Hey guys, Drew here, back with another video, and it's a little bit of a different style video compared to, you could say, my junior caps recaps on how they finished their season. We're kind of transitioning into the regiment, heading into the summer. We're going to talk a lot about them in these upcoming YouTube videos to come, heading into their regular season, which was decided a few days ago, well, more than a few days ago, maybe a week ago, was decided for the preseason schedule. Regular season schedule is yet to be released, but it's looking like it will be the 18th of September versus the reigning Gilles Courteau Cup champions Moncton Wildcats. So stay tuned for that game because that'll be interesting. We'll have a full preview, regular season preview ready to go and uploaded as soon as that season starts. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a lot of content. I'm already planning it out for next season, so it's gonna be fun, and I can't wait to get things started. But that's not even what today's video is about. I'm going to be doing my first ever draft ranking, which is something I'm really interested in, but I've never kind of brought it out to the YouTube channel. I love listening into NHLers, what do you call them, insiders, talking on who they think they could be in the top 10 or top 15 or even in the first round, guys like Jason Bukala, Chris Johnston, Bob McKenzie, Craig Button are some names that you could say. There's a few guys from Flow Hockey and Elite Prospects that are really good at that kind of stuff. Elite Prospects helped me a lot with this ranking, but this is my personal ranking. Who do I see going from 1 to 10? And yeah, so let's get started off with number 1. Who do I see go first overall? Now I'm not going to really include teams into this. I will maybe sprinkle it in a bit here and there, since picks number 9 and number 10 are yet to be decided. So we'll see where I choose these certain players and where do I think they will go. So number first overall, St. John has this pick, the Sea Dogs, and this is kind of a consensus number 1 pick. It isn't like Schaefer, how he's shaky. It may be Misa, it may be Haggins, only time can tell. Alexis Joseph will be the first overall pick in the QMJHL draft. I'm telling you that for free. He played, by the way, these names for these teams are insane. I may not be able to pronounce these right. So he played for College Esther Blondin, the Phoenix, I think they're called. Maybe whatever Phoenix is in French, someone could maybe Google that and see. But it's spelled differently than the actual Phoenix spelling, but I'm going to go with that for now, okay? So this guy's just a beast. 42 games played, 23 goals, 33 assists for 56 points, and this guy's 6'4". He is just a beast on the puck, running up the ice you could call him a moose almost, going up the ice and just absolutely tearing down the players and breaking it down. He says he compares himself to Quinton Byfield. I see him more as a power forward. You can see him more like a Josh Anderson, Mikko Rantanen, Nathan McKinnon type of guy, just rushing up that ice and just blowing by the D and getting good chances for his players. And as I said, 6'4", and he's still young at 16. He could still grow and maybe get into 6'7", 6'8" range. Would absolutely be a beast on an NHL roster, and especially the St. John Sea Dogs. Number 2 is Rimouski, even though Victoriaville owns this pick. Now there's been a lot of rumors going around that Rimouski is going to own this pick. So I'll just go with Rimouski since they will be starting the rebuild this offseason. They traded for a lot of graduating players since they are going to be in the Memorial Cup this year as the host. So they've traded for a lot of older players. Now they're going to try to get some young players. Number 2 overall, I see Malik L'Italien, you could call it. Last name's a little hard to pronounce, but he's a defenseman for this. He plays for Stansted College. Little easier name there. But I could see him fitting perfectly in Rimouski. You do have a few defensemen graduating. He could go in there into that D corps, get some experience from the older players, and definitely break it down into Rimouski. He's a really good two-way skater for Stansted. I've noticed, I watched a bit of clips from him here and there. And he has high hockey IQ as well, and a good skater. And I mean, as a defenseman, a good skater is pretty much what you want on a D-core. And then also the high hockey IQ, big for him. A player that I'd compare him to is Devon Toews on Colorado. Compared to a decent amount of players on Colorado here. But Toews, just a smart hockey player, breaks it down easily. Reason why he was on the Four Nations roster this year. Absolutely great pairing with him and Cale Makar. So that's why I compare Malik, we'll call him Malik for now, to Devon Toews. Third overall is owned by Halifax, and Halifax is really going to want to go for a defenseman in this draft, I'm thinking at least. They have pretty solid forward depth. Kalen Blake's one name. There's a few others as well that you can name, but they don't have much great defensemen. Carlos Handel's like the only one I can name off that's young and proven that he can be a really good QMJHL player, will likely be one of the better players on Germany next year in the World Juniors. Probably one of the better German players this year in the World Junior Tournament. So honestly, you could see Handel going into the NHL draft and getting picked. But this isn't about Carlos Handel. This draft pick I see going to Halifax is Thomas Charbonneau, you can maybe say. So this guy plays for Shattuck St. Mary's. In 61 games, he has 11 goals, 39 assists for 50 points. Really solid defensively as well on that play. I mean, you see the points, 50 points in 61 games. That's a pretty solid, you could call him offensive two-way defenseman, but he's actually a really good defensive defenseman. I'm going to compare him to Brandon Carlo on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Can bring in a little offense here and there, as it's definitely proven, but also defensively is absolutely really good on breaking that down. So that's why I have Charbonneau going to third. In Elite Prospects, he was ranked 7th, so it's a bit of a reach, but Halifax is desperately needing a defenseman. He's the best D available, I think, in the Mooseheads' favor. 4th overall goes to the Quebec Ramparts, who had the 1st overall pick in last year's draft. They drafted Maddox Desjardins. In this draft, I see them going for another forward in Louis Etienne Hawley. Now, I am very sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I'm just going to go with how I think it is. This guy played for the St. Eustache Vikings and was a beast. 41 games played, 14 goals, 21 assists for 40 points, and also 6'3", big guy on the puck, and he can definitely get those good chances for the Vikings. Watched a bit of him play, but he's also really solid defensively. You can definitely see him on like the first PK for Quebec heading into next season. He's that solid defensively, and as a forward too, that's even more huge. If he ever were to get into the NHL, you could see him as a solid 3rd line, 4th line player, breaking down the play against other big star players. A player that I would compare him to, from watching him a lot this year from my favorite team, the Montreal Canadiens, Yoel Armia. Definitely great puck protection. Jeez, couldn't really say that one. But he has really good size and reach as well, which Armia has in Montreal, which is why I practically compare him to Armia. You could also compare to Jake Evans, since him and Armia are kind of similar players, but Armia, in my opinion, stands out more over a guy like Evans to this Hawley. And then 5th overall, the Newfoundland Regiment, my new favorite team in the QMJHL. It was originally the Halifax Mooseheads. That may come to haunt me if the Regiment become big rivals with the Mooseheads, since it was my former favorite team. But for the Regiment, I can see them going for a hometown talent. I could see them going for a non-hometown talent. Anything can happen here. I saw a lot of fans on, I was going to say Growls Nation, Regiment Nation, saying they don't really want that hometown talent. Didn't work out with guys like Jordan Escott, James Melindy. They were all right, but they weren't like high caliber AHL contract signed players. Jordan Escott literally played senior hockey the year before for the Growlers. James Melindy played senior hockey this year in Harbor Grace. But 5th overall, in my opinion, these are back-to-back picks for the Regiment. I see them going for a guy like Zach Arsenault. Now, it could be a little more likely that Arsenault goes to Quebec. He has a little bit of history with the Ramparts. Hasn't played with them at all, but played with their junior squad, I believe, or something related to that. But Arsenault played for the Blizzard this year, not the East Coast Blizzard here in Newfoundland, but a really solid player. As in 23 games, he had 24 goals, 16 assists for 40 points. Just a little goal score, over a goal per game this season for the Blizzard. And a player that I have as a comparable to him is Tyler Toffoli on the San Jose Sharks. Just is burying the biscuit whenever he can, and is a great comparison to a guy like Arsenault. He's a really good puck handler and is able to fire the puck and find the back of the net. And Regiment fans, if you see his name on the back of a Regiment jersey come June 6th, get excited, because this is the real deal. This Arsenault guy is the real deal. Then 6 overall, the Regiment picked once again, and I see them going for a hometown talent here. Now, this isn't what you would call a Jordan S. Scott, a James Melindy, Kyle McGraw, even, for the Growlers, you could say. This guy could be a Zach O'Brien, Marcus Power for your team. I have them selecting Benjamin Vitch. You could call him Ben Vitch. But this guy played for the York Simcoe Express last year up in Ontario. Played also a bit for St. Andrews College as well. But this guy is really good. He comparable to Joseph, you could say. They have a similar style play, except Vitch is 6'2", a little shorter, but still really tall for his age. In 29 games for the Simcoe Express, he had 21 goals, 21 assists for 42 points. So he's a playmaker, but he's also a goal scorer. I compare him to Blake Wheeler. Great playmaker and has great offensive instincts for him in Vitch. For Regiment fans, if you complain that they drafted a hometown talent in Vitch, you shouldn't be, because this guy is going to be a beast for the Regiment. I think that he will. Doesn't mean he will, but that's my opinion. But Vitch, man, this guy's a real deal for St. Andrews and York Simcoe. 7th overall, the Charlottetown Islanders. I see them going for a guy in Nolan Heroux, you could say. I don't know if that OUX is pronounced ox or ooh or something like that, but this guy seems really good. Forward for Charlottetown, the first time they've picked in the top 10 in a while. He played for St. Eustache of the Vikings as well, and so for him, in 41 games played, he had 21 goals, 29 assists for 50 points. So this guy can rack up points here and there, which is why my comparison to him is Braden Point. Has great skating as well and great offensive talent, which is why I could see him being a top 10 pick. Even if like the Regiment would take him, I would be really excited, because this guy seems like he's a really good offensive player. Similar to Braden Point, is able to rack up on the score sheet and is able to find the back of the net a lot too. Then number 8, the last team that we know so far that will be drafting in the top 10, and that's number 8, which is the Newfoundland Regiment. Once again, hey, would you know it? These guys draft a lot in this first round, and honestly, people may hate me for this, but I got them going for another hometown talent. I got them going with defenseman Quinn Norman at the 8th slot. He's a defenseman, plays for the Vaughan Kings. Absolutely great skater. I've watched a bit of his clips. Man, he looks like Quinn Hughes out there. I'm not going to compare him to Quinn Hughes because that may be a little too much. But yeah, Quinn Norman, absolutely insane skater. It doesn't really say his stats on Elite Prospects, so I'll list off the stats for him in the OHL Cup, which is one of the bigger tournaments for the OHL. It isn't OHL players, it's players that will be drafted into the OHL. But since Norman is out in Ontario playing hockey, he'll play in that tournament, and he played a bit of QMJHL Cup as well, but since he's from Newfoundland, he kind of has to go into the QMJHL rather than the OHL. But yeah, in 4 games in the OHL Cup, he had 0 goals, 3 assists for 3 points. Really, and you could call him a playmaker, honestly, on defense. You could definitely see that he can definitely go up the ice and pass it to a player, maybe like Blaine Hudson, you could say, not really scoring much, but hey, this Quinn Norman dude, he's going to be really good. My comparison to him is Cale Makar's teammate, Sam Girard on Colorado. 2 great offensive defensemen. Girard kind of had a bounce back this year for Colorado, which is why I'll compare him to Quinn. So yeah, great player, and honestly, if you complain that it's another hometown talent, it isn't really like the Growlers, how older players are always going to be in senior. These younger players, they're going to be solid. Like, you look at Matt Butler for Charlottetown. He put up 65 points for the Islanders this year. There's a bunch of other names. Matteo Rotondi is one, played really good this year. Jabez Seymour, really good. Ty Pettigrew, all right for Bathurst. But these are all names that are in the QMJHL, and they're in the lineup regularly. So honestly, draft the hometown talent, and maybe it'll pay off here and there. But those are the 3 players I have going to the regiment: Zach Arsenault, Benjamin Vitch, and Quinn Norman. If you're a regiment fan, you're jumping in joy with those 3 picks. But yeah, the regiment will come out of this draft with 3 first-round picks, unless they trade one of them, of course. But that should be a great future to start a franchise here in Newfoundland. And then 9th overall, I'm not quite sure where this guy fall off, because I remember, like, I don't know, back in December when the team first got announced, we looked at this guy and he could have been in like the top 2, maybe get to top 1. Jaden Pominville, which is obviously Jason Pominville's son, played for the Buffalo Sabres. You probably know his name if you're a little older, but Jaden, really good player, ride shotgun with Alexis Joseph this year in college, Esther Blonin, the Phoenix, you could say. But for him, in 42 games played, he had 17 goals, 23 assists for 40 points. The guy, I mean, if you're running a shotgun with a guy like Alexis Joseph, you'll probably rack up a lot of points, and that's exactly what Pominville did. My comparison for Pominville would be a guy like Cole Caulfield, little smaller, but is still great hockey player. Can definitely bury the biscuit and get those assists here and there, as you could see in his stats. Pominville gonna be a great prospect, and if he ends up getting drafted into the QMJHL, that team will get a good player. And then 10th overall, the final draft pick I see in this year's top 10. You could say I've got Antoine Provencher. I don't know if it's Provencher or something like that, but anyways, he played for Charles Lemoyne, the Riverins, you could say. And then in 40 games played, he had 22 goals, 26 assists for 48 points. That guy can rack up points as well. My comparison for him is Jonathan Marsh. So with that versatility he brings to his game and that competitiveness, this guy could be a great prospect for whoever drafts him on June 6th. So the draft coming up June 6th, as I just said, and June 7th. Where will you be watching? And who do you think the regiment will take? Who do you think some other teams will take? And where do you think those players will go? St. John getting that first overall pick. I think Joseph goes there personally. Where does Rimouski pick? Or who do they pick? Where does Halifax pick? Quebec, Newfoundland, Charlottetown, you name it all. These teams are bright. They have bright futures heading into next season to start the 2025-26 season. That'll wrap up today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, you can like this video. You can subscribe if you really liked it. If you want more draft videos like this, make sure to let me know in the comments. Like this video as well if you haven't already. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this regiment QMJHL talk, you could say, as I did the QMJHL finals predictions last video. Hope you guys like a little bit more QMJHL talk. I'm just getting the hang of it now, so we'll see if I can just get better from here and talk QMJHL puck. So that's it for today's video, guys, and I'll talk to you all again soon.